The reason for all these problems is not because your child is AED or has any learning difficulties or has Asperger's. It's because your child has not completed the proper cycles of cognitive functioning and development. And cognitive functioning and development are what affect all of these things. They affect every decision we make. They affect what we see, how we interact with our environment, and how we respond to it. It's all cognitive skills. And cognitive skills are similar to physical skills. If you were to go and you were to look at the physical stages of development of a child or baby's born. As the baby grows, it starts getting a grasping reflex. Then the baby can sit, then the baby can crawl, then the baby can walk, then the child or the toddler can run. Physical stages of development, you can see them happening in front of you. Cognitive function and development are invisible because they're happening in the brain. But they happen along with the physical stages of development. So the big issue is, what are these cognitive functionings and skills? And they affect everything. They affect friendships, decision making, organizational skills, task analysis skills, how to start something, stay on task, and finish something. Which is why, if you tell a lot of our students, if you were at home and you said to your child, can you please go to your room and clean your room, or you go do your homework, you might look 10 minutes later and your child is across the road at the neighbor's house pumping up their bike tire because it was low on air. And you have no idea how you gave them the instruction to go to the room, and you looking out the window and there they are. It's because on the way to their room they decided they were thirsty, but when they opened their fridge, their soda that they wanted wasn't there. So they went into the garage to see if there was extra soda in the garage, at which point they saw their bike, remembered their bike tire needed air, and then remember the neighbor told them that the next time their bike was flat to come over, so they took their bike and went over to the neighbor's house to put air in it. Perfectly logical. Everything your child just did is perfectly logical, other than it's not what they were supposed to be doing. And that's the problem, and you can't see that. That's an example where you see the flow of it, but a lot of our children, that's how it works. They start a task, and before you know it, they're on a completely different task, even though that task is important to them. It's not the task they were asked to do. All of that, it's a cognitive function. Task analysis skills, cognitive function. Part-whole relationships, that's the ability for anyone to see pieces of something and put it together to make a whole picture. So as you saw, when my staff member walked in here, she quietly walked in and said something to Mrs. V, and then she quietly walked out. She saw that I was talking, she saw there was people listening, she put the pieces together that this is a situation I need to be quiet because there's a lecture or conference going on, and acted appropriately. Chances are, if one of your children was to walk through the door, they would not conduct themselves in that same way. They would either yell mom or dad or come running over, and probably would not respect the fact, and let's say not even respect, wouldn't understand that there was a lecture or conference going on and the importance of them being quiet or acting accordingly. So that's part-whole relationships. It might be the reason why when you're on the phone, your child's tugging on your shirt, talking to you, asking you for something because they haven't put together all the pieces that mom or dad's on the phone, they're having another conversation, I need to wait. It's all immediate, instant gratification because the parts in the whole don't move. Auditory processing problems could just mean it's one of many things. It's the way they hear things, it's the way their ears process the sound, the way the brain processes the sound once it's transmitted from the ears, so all the way to how they act upon what they hear. And for a lot of our children that have auditory processing disorders, it's the equivalent of them not speaking the same language or them not speaking English. So even though you may say to them, read my lips, do you understand what I'm saying? Repeat what I just said to you. And they'll be able to repeat right back exactly what you just said. It doesn't mean they understood it. The same way if I was to ask you to repeat a sentence in Greek, not that I can speak Greek, but if I gave you a sentence in Greek to repeat phonetically, you would be able to say it back to me. Does it mean you understood anything I said? No. And that's the same with a lot of our children. So even though you'll say to them, do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Tell me what I just said. They'll say it right back to you. Off they go. And no idea. It's like they didn't understand or hear anything you said. General processing or perceptual problems. That's also just along the lines of them not understanding the way things work or them overreacting. It could be that they think, a lot of our children think there's a specific student or a specific person or a specific teacher that's responsible for all their problems. That's their bizarro, that everything that goes wrong in their life is based on one specific person and they focus on them. They may think that when two students are talking across the room and telling a joke, they're making fun of them. If they hear people laugh, they think they're teasing them, even though it may have nothing to do with them. Problem sorting, grouping, or sequencing, these are all cognitive skills. That's why if you tell your child to go to their room and clean their room, chances are you're walking, doesn't matter how many minutes later, the room's not going to be clean. Cleaning their room is a huge task. And the whole ability of knowing where to group, how to sort, what goes where, what to do first, all task analysis skills, all grouping skills, and all cognitive skills. All of these things that I'm flashing on the board, or that you'll see, are also cognitive skills. I'm not going to go through them because they're lengthy and there's many. Processing speed, which is how the brain processes information, auditory processing, visual processing, memory, logic and reasoning, problem solving, that's a huge one, problem solving, because life is one big problem. It may not be a problem as far as the problem you're thinking of, oh, this is a problem. Sure. Life is problem solving from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to bed. From what it is you're going to put on to wear for the day, to what you're going to eat for breakfast, to does your car need gas, to what route you're going to take to work, to did you bring everything you need. Life is one problem after another every second of the day that your brain has to solve. So if you don't have proper problem solving skills, everything you do is going to be affected. It's a major cognitive skill. Critical thinking and conflict resolution skills, also huge cognitive skills. Attention skills are divided into sustained attention, divided attention, and selected attention. All cognitive skills. And this is the important part, is tutoring and academic remediation don't work because tutoring and academic remediation do not teach cognitive skills. Cognitive skills need to be taught as cognitive skills need to be taught. Just as if your child needed to learn tennis or golf, you wouldn't tutor them in math or reading. If your child needs cognitive skill development, you cannot tutor them in math or reading. It's two completely separate things. You actually have to teach them cognitive skills.